These are social problems. They need a social response. So it's not time for more big government. It is time for the big society.
Live from the Sky News Centre, this is Sky News with Jeremy Thompson.
Very good evening. Top story on Sky News at 6. Axing jobs, cutting benefits, making us work longer. There was always going to be pain. Today, the Chancellor revealed where that pain will hit. The biggest cuts in more than a generation will save the government more than £80 billion over the next 4 years. But despite claims that the richest will pay the most, leading independent economists already say it appears that the poorest will be hardest hit.
I told you that we would cut wasteful spending. I told you that there would be in-year reductions in departmental budgets, and that we would do this while protecting the quality of key frontline public services. Today, I can tell you that we have delivered on every single commitment that we made. In the space of just 1 week, we have found and agreed to cut £6.25 billion of wasteful spending across the public sector.
It's a system now that was originally designed to support the poorest in society that seems to be trapping too many of them in the very condition that it's supposed to alleviate. It's meant to be a process, not a state of being, and it seems to have reverted to that state.
Well, I can only speak from my perspective, and that is they'll expect some help from the trades unions, they'll expect some help from the social structure, social departments, but they're being trimmed right back as well. So there isn't a lot of help that they can get.
People might expect charities or schools to step in, because the more skilled we are as a nation, the more we are going to actually be able to bring more economy in.
I dare say the church will play its part.
I don't think it's necessarily right for the church to give handouts, but there are times when people are in desperate need, and you know, the church can then work with other agencies.
It's a multicultural country now, isn't it? So there's not one dominant religion. So unless all religions join together, nothing's going to happen, is it? Because it's so diverse now.
I think it could stop fretting about who's doing which job and what sexual orientation they have, and get on with the job of looking after the people, which is what Christ did in the first place.
You know, I think some of the things that the Archbishop has said has been very, has been supporting ordinary people in terms of the impact the cuts are going to have. I think keeping that pressure on the government to make sure that they think before they make all these plans, and they think about the impact on ordinary people. I think that's going to be something really important that the church can do.
I think it's a massive time of potential for the church. I think the recession is actually a time when people start to look at their core values.
Hi, I'm Andy Flanagan, and I'm a worship leader, but I'm also director of the Christian Socialist Movement, which is kind of the semi-detached Christian wing of the Labour Party. So we exist to resource, network and support Christians who are getting involved prophetically, challenging the left-hand side of politics. I think it's a time of real opportunity, but I think we have to be realistic about the opportunities as well. I think one of the best examples is the Christians Against Poverty CAP programme. Folks doing debt advice and counselling all over the country. Churches are picking up on this being a fantastic way to interact with their community, but it's that programme is unashamedly bringing both word and deed. And I think one of the challenges that we face at this time is we get sucked into a dilemma that says, well, state receding, church stepping in. Actually, the church and state are two different actors, and we need to make sure that we retain the distinctive of what we're doing as church. And we're called to bring the kingdom in all its fullness, to demonstrate his kingdom. And that means seeing internal transformation and external transformation. I mean, there are countless examples of the church starting schools, starting hospitals. You look at most of the social services in our country have come from the church being involved, being that glue at the centre of a community, saying, well, this is a need, we're going to meet it. But there is a a danger that we do lose our distinctiveness, that we do lose what we're about. One of the best examples is Desmond Tutu, when he said, as Christians, we don't need to be just fishing the bodies out of the river. We're good at doing that. We're good at the acts of charity. We're good at giving the money. We're good at just helping someone close by. We're good at acts of charity, just helping the victim. But actually, somebody has to be going upstream to see who's pushing the bodies in, what is going on in our unjust structures that is creating victims, rather than just treating the victims. And that's where we need to be careful as the church, that we could just end up being victim treaters rather than those who are campaigning to see change, to make sure people are supported by our society, by our government, and by the structures that we inhabit.